Hello, let's do a quick lesson on the fretboard. There's two things you need to know to create good music. One is the shape of the major scale, and two is where the letters are on the fretboard. So if you know where A is, you can create an A major scale. You have to know where A is, you have to know the major scale. So we'll go over the major scale more and more, but the other half of that coin, the other side, is the major scale, or the natural notes. So I'm going to show you the Be Careful system, which I came up with myself. The rules are you always skip a fret when you're going from one letter to the next unless you land on a B or an E, which spells the word be, which reminds you to be careful. When you land on a B or an E, you're going to go to the very next fret, what we call a half step. So for example, when I start on the E string, and by the way, I'm going to go straight up the string in a straight line. I'm going to start on E, and I'm going to spell this out. I'm going to talk my way through it. I'm going to say out loud E, and I'm going to say be careful because I'm on an E, and I will find F on the very next fret, and that's just science. Now, I'm going to skip a fret from one letter to the next, F to G, G to A to B. I'm always skipping a fret unless I land on a B or an E. So since I just landed on a B, I'm going to be careful, and I'll find C a half step away on the very next fret. Now I'm going to skip frets until I hit an E or a B again. I'm going to skip to D, I'm going to skip to E. Now once you hit the 12th fret, I would consider yourself done because you've done all the notes on that one string until you came full circle from E to E. Now I would do all the strings and I would absolutely talk your way through it. So on the B string, you're gonna be careful right away and you're gonna go to your very first fret to find C. And then I'm gonna skip to D, skip to E, but when I land on an E, I'm gonna be careful. F is right next door. Skip to G, skip to A, skip to B. And if I wanted to keep going, I could find C here, but I've hit the 12th fret. I went from B to shining B. Now on the next string, and by the way, these are going to sound very non-musical, particularly the B string. So try to very strictly follow the Be Careful system rules, and it'll kind of play itself out. What we're going to do later is apply major scales to these natural notes. G string, I've got G, skip to A, skip to B, be careful, C. Skip to D, skip to E, but be careful, F, skip to G. Study that and you'll know all the notes on the G string. On the D string, I'm starting on D, so I'm going to skip a fret over fret 1 to E. But I'm on E now, B, E, careful. So I'm going to be careful, F is the next fret. Skip to D, or skip to G rather, skip to A, skip to B, but be careful, C. And then skip to D, and once you've hit the 12th fret, you're done. Next string, A. A is not in the word B, so I'm going to skip a fret. B is in the word B, so I'm going to be careful, C is right next door. Now, the question you're asking yourself is, I'm standing on a C note. Is C in the word B? No, so I'm skipping. Now I'm on D. Is D in the word B? No, so I'm skipping. Now I'm on the letter E. Is E in the letter B? Yes. So I'm going to not skip a fret. I'm going to go to the very next fret for F. F's not in B, so I'm skipping. G's not in B, so I'm skipping. And that's how I do all the notes on the A string. The top and bottom string are the same. So by doing that exercise, you will have mapped out all the letters on the fretboard, and most guitar players never actually do that. That'll give you a superpower if you know where all the A's are. You can create A major or A minor. If you know where all the A's are, you can find A flat or A sharp and create major minor for both of those things. So I would like you to practice that and get as good as you can, as handy as you can with your letters on the fretboard, and that's going to open up a lot of doors for you as a player. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I hope that's helpful.